Hello and welcome to Monochemistry. Tonight we're going to look at a more complicated sort of way, actually sorry, not a more complicated way, but a more complicated problem on how do we name this particular compound. And we're going to look at multivalent metal compounds, and so therefore we have to name these things using the stock system. Alright, so the first thing you have to notice about this particular compound is that it includes a metal from the transition elements. And as we know, the metals from the transition elements can be a little wonky. They have more than, some of them, this one included, have more than one charge that can be associated with them. So when they form ions, they can form more than one ion, which is where the multivalent part comes from. So we know that manganese, we know by looking at this, and I'm telling you because it's the multivalent one, that we're going to have to do something a little bit different with this than what we've done in the past with these types of compounds. So here's the strategy. In class, we talked a little bit about the crossover method. Okay, for this, we're going to have to use the reverse crossover method. Okay, and it's quite simply, the crossover method takes the charge of an element and crosses it down to tell you how many of the other, not the element, the ion, tells you how many of the other ion you have. So in other words, if manganese had a, let's say, a 6 plus charge, then the 6 would come down, so 6 plus, the 6 plus would come down and become a 6 here. Okay, and if this had a 3 plus charge, then it would come down, it would be a 3 there. Get the idea. Okay, so you remember talking about that in class. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the reverse. So we know how many of each of these things we have, but we want to figure out the charge. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just really quickly, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write down Mn and PO4. Okay, now Mn is the wonky one. We don't know what the charge of that is, but if you look on the back of your periodic table, you can see your polyatomic ions. You can find this one, which is phosphate, and you will find, in fact, that it has a 3 negative charge. Okay, now look at this. Reverse crossover. Okay, so using that logic, watch this. Take the number that's associated with this polyatomic ion, bring it down, and it becomes a 4 plus on the manganese. Now think about it. If I had 3 of these, that would give me a 12 plus charge. And if I had 4 of these, that would give me a 12 minus charge, which works out. So that works. Okay, so you just double check. Now, we know we have Mn 4 plus, and we have PO4 minus. So, how do we name this? Well, remember, when you use the stock system, the Roman numeral is, in fact, the charge of the metal ion. So, this is manganese, this is phosphate. The name of this would be, this is going to be messy, manganese 4, because of the 4 plus charge, right? Phosphate. Okay, that is your reverse crossover method, and it works for naming multivalents.